Boomers are to blame for the housing affordability crisis here in the United States. That's what many people on TikTok and in articles love to do. They love to paint a one specific age group of people that have basically been the venomous sucking of real estate from every other generation, and they're keeping it all to themselves. I'm here to tell you that painting one specific group of people for owning all the real estate isn't necessarily the villain. Every media outlet loves to paint a certain specific group of people as the villain, and that's the reason why you're feeling so terrible about your specific life. And I'm here to tell you, they're not to blame. We're going to be getting into why millennials, Gen X, Gen Z believe that boomers are the reason for their misfortunes when it comes to the affordability crisis. And then we're going to get into other reasons why people are blaming affordability crisis on all other aspects. And then at the end, you can tell me, do you think it's the baby boomers that have sucked up all the real estate like vampires, and that's the reason why no one can find an affordable home? Or could it be possibly one of these other reasons? When you see article headlines that say boomers got rich off the real estate and now are perfect position to do it again, it makes people that are younger a little bitter. And let's just be honest. I mean, we can't fault people that were born in a time when homes were more affordable and they bought a home. Like, how does that even make sense? If you're telling me, and you're younger, and you were able to buy a house working a regular job, 9-to-5 job, and it ended up turning into $1 million home, 30 years down the road, it literally makes no sense. But I understand your frustration if you're in that position. But let me share another statistic with you, and maybe you can change your mind a little bit when it comes to baby boomers. This comes from Yahoo Finance, and it says now the over 50 demographic represents over half of the homeless single adults in the United States, with no sign of the numbers slowing, leaving baby boomers, those ages of 57 to 75, particularly vulnerable. And let's put that in perspective. A lot of these baby boomers are getting to the point where they're going to need a lot more healthcare and healthcare facilities available to them. We do not have as many healthcare or aging retirement homes as we used to have. And the ones that are available are for profit, very expensive. So they're having no choice but to stay in their home. There was this big theory that was going around for quite some time, and I've talked about this before, about the silver tsunami. And it was supposed to have all these people, the baby boomers, that were going to sell their homes, move to Florida, or live in areas like the villages where they would have all of their medical needs taken care of and they could be around other people. Well, that's not happened. It's too expensive now for most baby boomers to sell their current home and move somewhere else. Not only that, they didn't put in consideration how many people actually just wanted to age in place to stay around their own family. This has caused a conundrum of the younger generations wanting to buy their older homes, and they can't buy their older homes because these elderly people are deciding to age in place, making the baby boomers the enemy once again. My biggest concern for a lot of elderly Americans when it comes to whether they're being baby boomers or the silent generation is the fact that the cost of living has gotten so incredibly high, and many of them have made very good financial decisions, but the cost of living is so much higher than they had ever budgeted for. Their pensions aren't covering it. Medical costs have gone up. Food costs have gone up, and a lot of their rents have gone up. And if you live in a place like, let's just say, a manufactured home park, and it was a 55 plus community, and that manufactured home park decided to get taken over by corporate investors, a lot of them have seen a huge increase on how much they were actually paying for the rent fees that they would pay for their manufactured home. There's even been some cases where people have to make the decision on whether to get their medication or have their home foreclosed on. And as extreme as you think that may sound, it's happening over and over and over again across the country, whether you're in Florida, New Jersey, Louisiana. Once a corporate investor comes in, there is no reprieve for anybody that lives in manufactured home parks. There's no laws on the books that protect them as renters. So the corporate investors that take these over, they know it's a cash cow for them. They make a lot of money on this. Wall Street loves them, and they're making the money off of the backs of people that really are on fixed incomes. So the baby boomers in this situation are not the enemy. Did you know that over 42% of Americans don't even have a mortgage? And as you guessed it, most of them are baby boomers. But if you're thinking that generational wealth is going to trickle down into the next generations, I have a story to share with you. Just recently, I spoke to a friend of mine whose mom lost her entire home to a healthcare facility. And I didn't even know if this was legal or not. One of my friends, Nate Morrissey, was going to look into it. So let's give him a call right now and see what he has to say.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Nate, how are you?
I'm all right. Yeah, so I talked to my friend, and she's literally like one of the pioneers in the senior placement world. But she says, it's not common at all, but there are communities that do it, so it's not unheard of. She was familiar with a couple of the bigger, what are called continuing care retirement communities, or CCRCs, that have a bigger buy-in. So it's like those communities offer you care no matter what. So it's like if you needed memory care and all that stuff. But she says, they're pretty strict and stringent about it. A lot of paperwork, a lot of analysis and stuff like that. It's like really look at the contract and probably get an attorney involved, see if there's anything they can do there on their end. But I was thinking possibly, I don't know if that would be decent over a possible elder care or elder law attorneys that deal with senior communities.
I can talk to her about it. I mean, I don't know. I think she's so desperate right now and just so exasperated. I mean, of all the things that could have possibly happened, nobody expected that,
Or did you have a copy of the agreement? Like, does it say anything if it's like prorated, if they die like in a year or anything like that?
I have not seen the total contract. I don't know everything. It makes more sense to me that you would do like a reverse mortgage or something like that, or sell the house.
Yeah, some of these bigger continuing care retirement communities will offer that if it's a good fit. But the communities are usually worried that the house isn't worth enough to cover the care. But, the family's going, oh, this is such a good deal because, depending on the type of care, it's probably going to be $6,000+ a month. So it's like, oh man, this is a deal.
Right.
Because mom's going to last another 10 or 15 years.
100%. That's what they were thinking.
Has she talked to them at all?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And what have they said? So sad?
Yeah. You knew what you were getting into. You signed everything. And she was like, there has to be some kind of clause, it wasn't even a full 90 days before she passed away. Can we work something out? And she was even saying that she would pay double the amount that it would have cost her for the 3 months out of the proceeds of the sale of the house, as long as the family could get the rest of the money. And they were like, nope. So we'll see what happens, because it seems so sketchy. I think she'll fight it through the courts, that's for sure.
Hopefully she can find somebody good that can help.
I hope so. The other thing that a lot of elderly people do, because they are on such limited incomes and the pensions don't cover what they anticipated, they're deciding to do like reverse mortgages. It does work out for some people, but for some people it can be a real nightmare. It's unfortunate that some families have no choice but to do a reverse mortgage to take the equity in order to pay for just average living expenses. The commercials make it seem like they're just going to use them for vacations, but a lot of people that are doing reverse mortgages, it's because they need to pay for their medications and foods and medical expenses that were very unexpected. They're just trying to live. So now that you know that I'm not going to vilify baby boomers when it comes to this, let's talk about the home builders, because a lot of people love to point the finger at the home builders for the cause of the affordability crisis here in the United States. For the last several years since the last housing crash, as you know, many home builders have not been building as many homes. It's between 6 million to 3 million homes short in the United States. According to the National Association of Home Builders, it's around 3 million. But if you look at other charts, they're saying it's about 5 million homes short. And you're thinking, how the heck could we be 5 million homes short? Because of the last crash, a lot of home builders were kind of gun shy of building. So they're not in the mood to build as many homes and then lose their rear end if the economy is to shift. I will just say this, the cost to build a home is a lot more. It's very hard to find help to actually build your homes. Your contractors that put up the drywall, the roofing materials, the concrete, all those things are costing home builders a lot more. So I understand where builders are coming from when it gets to the point where they can build a home. They're trying to make as much money in that short amount of time as they can because they've waited all this time just to be able to build a home in the first place. So I don't think they're the cause of the home affordability crisis. They have a part in it, no doubt about it, but they're not the sole reason, just like baby boomers aren't. All right, let's talk about the economy and the interest rates when it came to baby boomers. They got in pretty good. And you'll hear a lot of baby boomers say, when I bought my house in the 80s, it cost me 13% to buy a house. Like the millennials love to point out, you bought your house for like what?
How much did you buy your first house for?
How much did I buy? It was about £58,000.
£58,000. The average house price today has accelerated in that, in real terms, by an enormous amount.
$30,000, $40,000. Those homes don't exist today. And if we were to be able to find a house in even like 150 to 200,000, most of them would be more than happy to purchase them. That's the other thing you hear a lot is like, well, it's because young people won't compromise and they want something new. No, they just can't find anything, whether new or old or otherwise. It's very difficult to find anything affordable. So that's where all the little pointing the game starts. It's just not the same kind of market. So millennials need to stop blaming boomers, and boomers need to stop blaming millennials for not saving money. It's not the same world. Neither one of us were playing in the same ballpark when we were able to purchase a home. And so if boomers aren't to blame, builders aren't to blame, interest rates aren't to blame, then what about the realtors and the lenders? Well, I know that people love to blame the real estate agents and the mortgage lenders for the cause of the affordability crisis. I've seen it many times in my comment section. They believe that the real estate agents set the price for the homes, and that's the reason why the home prices have continued to go up, even with higher interest rates. I hate to tell you if you think this, but real estate agents don't have that power. The only power they have is what the market dictates. And if a home is overpriced, I guarantee you, no one's going to purchase it. But anytime in the past, if interest rates went up, home prices went down. And that's not where we're at today. Now you're seeing less homes being sold, but they're still selling. The second thing is not many people are selling their houses because there's nowhere to go, because they're not going to be willing to take on a new mortgage at a higher mortgage rate. They're just going to go ahead and stay in place, like the silver tsunami people. Back during the last financial crisis, many people went to prison for forcing people into mortgages they had no idea about. The regulations when it comes to lending have gotten extremely tight. The people that are able to afford a mortgage today are not the same kinds of people that were able to get a mortgage back during the last housing crisis. So if it's not the real estate agents, and it's not the lenders, and it's not the boomers, of course, who's at fault? Well, this is my favorite one. And whenever somebody quotes me this, they're like, only institutional investors own 1% to 2% of the houses in the area. Wrong. Any chart can make anything look like anything. And if you are living in the Sunbelt area, those are where the institutional investors have bought the most homes. Those also used to be the most affordable areas in the United States. And that's where most boomers used to retire because it was the most affordable place for them to move to. And guess what? A lot of those areas have increased almost 100% in the last 5 years. But what fueled a lot of the prices going up, even in my rural area, was because of big companies like Zillow, who was buying homes cash with no inspections, a lot of other investors that were buying homes cash, no inspections. I'm telling you, institutional investors are the enemy, in my opinion, and it's going to continue to get worse. But how do we fight this off and come up with a solution? I have a couple solutions. First of all, if you are a younger person and you're trying to find a home, quit fighting with the fact that boomers bought all the houses. You know, you may want to live in a converted van, or you may want to live in a tiny home. And for some people, that isn't even going to be a conducive or even a thought process. But for some, that is going to work. The other thing I want you to consider, though, is a mobile home manufactured home. And I know you're like, ugh. I know you're thinking that, but I promise you, if you look at the newest manufactured homes, they're actually quite lovely. And they do have a much better build than they've had in years previous. They've always are improving them. So just take a look at manufactured homes. Another thing you may want to consider is if you're an older person and you have family in the area, if you could think about the idea of buying something bigger and your whole entire family lives in that one specific property, like a little compound, and everybody pays a portion of the mortgage, that is one other way you may consider getting into a house. Not only that, it would really help with those aging parents, and then you wouldn't need a healthcare facility and get into a bad situation. Look, I know home prices have gone up and it's been ridiculous. I know interest rates have gone up and it's been ridiculous. But boomers are not the reason why housing is unaffordable. There's so many different factors that cause this mess that we're in now, and it's going to take a long time before we get out of it. But if you don't think that's true and you still think it's the boomers' fault, go ahead and let me know in the comments section below. To watch more videos about the affordability crisis here in the United States, you're going to want to watch these videos right here. My name is Kristina Smallhorn, your real estate whisperer, and I tell you all this because good real estate information matters.